Yeah, I'd like to talk as well about my reluctance to do the Qenda because all of my pain was abdominal.
Yeah.
And I had a real fear that I'd just add to that pain. So it was more, I was like batting off the cure, thinking it was going to cause more discomfort when actually it was exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Because I do think that's really common for a lot of women that have gynecological abdominal issues. They don't want to cause any more upset because the Western model is let me probe you and physically manipulate you and to feel what's going on, when really intuitively something's wrong because your body's telling you. So that barrier, because for me it was being touched a lot on my stomach, causing a lot of pain, and in my head I was thinking my tummy really hurts, the last thing I want to do is give it something that's going to make it unhappy.
Yeah, you're treading on eggshells, aren't you? Yeah, and I know exactly what you mean with doctors. They're very touchy-feely.
Yeah.
It gets to a point where it's a bit unnecessary. I know with myself with digestive problems, passing blood in the toilet every time they put a glove on and went like that, and I was like, why are you doing this? And they're like, well, just to see if you haven't put anything up there. I was like, I know I haven't put anything up there. Like, it can be a bit invasive, can't it? Doctors' way of going about stuff, and it's through no fault of their own. It's not. How they've been trained. It's all they know. So,
are you okay for time?
Yeah, I am.
Because one thing I do want to tell you is, I'm going to post this in your group as well. Actually, is I was in hospital on Boxing Day with appendicitis.
Oh no!
And they were like all gun ho to take my appendix out.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not happening. Like, unless you're telling me it's burst, I'm not having the surgery.
Yeah.
And long story short, they were trying to give me codeine and Buscopan and everything else. And I was like, look, I've invested a lot of time and money in my health, and it's taken me years to get my bowels working properly. I'm not taking codeine. It's not happening. And I had a really good conversation with the surgeon, and I just said, look, I want to go home and heal it naturally, and if I can't do it, I'll come back, but I'm not just handing over my appendix. And I actually used the Qenda to do it.
Oh, awesome.
And so it started on Boxing Day, and then I had 5 days of real bad pain in like my appendix. But as soon as I got home, I was like on the Qenda, and then I was taking essential oils and everything else as well. And then I could almost feel the blockage moving around like my colon. And then on the Saturday, so like just under a week, I had the most epic bowel movement, and you could just see all the crap that must have been in my appendix.
Wow.
And then the pain just left. It was almost instantaneous. It was like, oh, that's what needed to come out, and it's done it now. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I've always wondered about appendicitis. Obviously, it comes and like they do say, right, we need to do it now. And I appreciate some people are an emergency. Like I said, if it's burst, let's get it. Like you can do nothing more about it. But well done, firstly, just for taking control of your health. And I don't think people realise that doctors are there for you, and you know your body the most.
Massively.
So you're the person that should be telling the doctor what to do within reason, like rather than just saying, okay, cut stuff out of me, do what you need to do, because you've lived in your body for a very long time. You know it, don't you? So
that's it.
Well done. That's amazing.
Do you know what? I was so shocked by the surgeons because I thought they were going to laugh me out of the room, but he was like, do you know what you've just said? Because I didn't say exactly how I was going to do it. I was like, I'm just going to go down a natural route. He said, all I've got to give you is Buscopan and codeine. And he said, I totally respect what you're saying about your bowel. it is going to do that to it. But it's like, those are the only tools I've got to give you. And he was like, if you feel that you can do it, then hats off to you. But he was like, you know, if you start X, Y, or Z, get straight back here. So I was really, really reassured by that, because I thought they were going to, like, because obviously you're in a lot of pain, you haven't eaten or drank anything because you're in hospital all day waiting to be seen, and you're in, you know, when you're in pain, fear comes in, doesn't it? Like, oh my God, you know, like I'm going to die or whatever. And and I just thought he was going to manipulate me into having the surgery, which is what, and because it was COVID, I was on my own. You know, Tom was sat in the car park, and it was like, how do I know when I'm not in a rational space that I'm making the right decision?
It's so, and you can't, if you do dowsing or anything like that, you can't like, oh, just like, oh, 1 minute, I'm just going to meditate on it and ask myself, like, they're like, what you're doing, they'll probably class you as clinically insane, wouldn't they? All the normal stuff you do to make a decision. But that's so interesting about the appendicitis. Like, do you feel like you was constipated before that, or do you think you just your appendix wasn't cleansing itself, so the toxins built up there?
I think it was, a lot of it was emotionally brought on, which I work a lot, as I'm sure you understand, James, is like, we store a lot of our emotions in the gut.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of the time, again, that's what people don't understand, that you can be doing all these things right, but if you're not actually getting to the root cause, and for me, I was bloated on Christmas Day, but I wouldn't say I was like, which is unusual for me now, but I wouldn't say I was like thinking, oh, I'm really worried about myself, or, you know, and then I just as soon as I woke up on Boxing Day and tried to move, I was just in excruciating pain. And I did, in between, whilst I was doing the herbs and the oils, I did have a somatic healing session, and actually went in and spoke to my appendix, and, you know, listened to what she needed. And a lot of it was stress that I was just putting on myself. And, you know, it was just and it's like the body's in charge. Like, I wasn't resting and giving myself time to gather my thoughts. So what's it going to do? Make me ill, so I can't.
I've
got
give you
no
a big
choice.
symptom, a big message, like, because it probably gave you, like you said, with a little bit of bloating, you might have been getting that for a while, and you might have been getting a few feelings, and like it goes straight over the head. You're too busy for all that, and then that's what a symptom and like an illness or a disease is, isn't it? It's just like, listen to me.
And listen, I'm here.
And I guess that's what you teach as well. It's just teaching people that it's not a punishment from your body. It's just trying to get you to listen and help guide you the right way. Because
the body's on your side, which I think I spent a lot of my life thinking it was working against me. And I had a lot of resentment for my body. And especially with my endometriosis, like anything to do with like my reproductive organs, I just had so much resentment and just thought, oh, this is such a, you know, why can't I be like every other woman? And it wasn't until I switched that narrative and was like, actually, this pain is a really loving message from my body that I need to change things.
It's empowering.
Yeah.
Not victim mode. It's like
massively.
Empowered. Yeah. You get in tune with your body, listen to it, and it'll always guide you in the right way. And then the more you listen to it, the more you build up your instincts and your intuition, and it helps you making them hard decisions, doesn't it? Or or you, even if you're doing something that intuitively it's not right, your stomach will start going, or you'll just know it won't feel right, and that it'll guide you so well in life, because there's so many scams around. There's so many people that just sort of want your money, or they are calling you up, there's a lot of people wanting to help you, but there's even more amount of people that really don't want to help you and just want to help themselves. And
I think some of them genuinely think that they are helping, but they don't know, you know, they've not got their eyes open to the full picture. And, you know, like you said, there's so many layers to health and healing and well-being that at the end of the day, one product isn't going to solve it, or one meditation, or like you've got to put it all together and listen to everything.
Yeah, there's no magic pill. Like you can like people, like they can use, like I know with people with the Qenda, they use the Qenda as a crutch. It's like there are, like you said, so many layers, and like if people are too busy for that and don't want to deal with it, they just use the Qenda, and they're the people that end up, instead of just doing like a course of it, they end up on it for a long time, and they're like, well, you said a course would just fix me, and it's like, yeah, it would if you was living a healthy lifestyle and stuff like that. But when you don't want to live a healthy lifestyle, you want to run around stressed, you want to eat crap food, you don't want to give yourself any time, that's when supplements and stuff they're like a crutch for you, and they help you cheat through life. But like you can easily come off the supplements if you apply all these things, but sometimes it is a little easier to and that's in our lifestyles and a high stress lifestyle. That's where supplements, vitamins, even therapies and practices come in, because like a lot of the stuff we do is high stress and does take its toll on our bodies. And even if it's a yoga class or anything, it's just anything to just charge you back up, or going outside in nature, or all stuff that we don't seem to be able to fit into our schedules normally. Like
massively.
I just thought, I'm going to put my phone on charge before it runs out of battery. It just came up. But that's interesting that stress brought it on. And obviously with stress as well, with appendicitis and stress, obviously it puts your body in fight or flight mode. So then it's not in rest and digest. So stuff's not moving and flowing how it should be. All your blood's around your extremities, not around your organs. So stuff does shut down, and the priority of cleansing your body and keeping stuff flowing and digestion is not priority when you should be running away from like a saber-toothed tiger or danger. So your body's it's preparing you to run or fight, isn't it? Not to digest and do that stuff that's secondary to keeping alive if you're in danger. So that's really thanks for sharing that. That's
okay.
It's amazing to know. And because you hear so many stories about people with appendicitis, and they're just like, oh, we had no other options, doctor said this, had no other option. And that is so powerful what you said, just showing people that they do have dominion over their body, and it is their body, and you always have a choice.
Your body doesn't make mistakes in terms of, you've got an appendix for a reason. You've got your tonsils for a reason. And, I learned the hard way, because I had a hysterectomy and I had my womb removed. And now I just think, if you, like you always say, James, and I'll never forget, I think it was your mum that said it to me, like, if you're not born with it, you can heal it. And it, like, on the flip of that, if you're born with it, you need it. Like, and for them to just like be whipping out tonsils and appendicitis like left, right, and centre is just, to me, that's not healthy. And your body needs that organ, and it's a big part of your immune system. Like, well, not a big part, it's a small part of your immune system, but your immune system's huge, and all the parts in it play a vital role. So it's it's a key part in it. And I was just adamant that they weren't taking that organ unless it was like, you're gonna die if we don't.
Life or death. And I say as well, like, if you ask a surgeon what the best thing to do is always going to say surgery. And that's just what they've been trained to do. And on another side of the scale, they get paid to do that, to have so many surgeries and have so many successful surgeries, and they get the bonuses and stuff. But that's not the main reason why they're recommending it. It's just what they know's best. If you have this, do this. And that's how the medical journal works, doesn't it? If you have these symptoms or this diagnosis, you will give this medication, then that medication, and then this. And then when they don't work, then it's surgery. It's all And that's what I wanted to mention as well. Like when you said the doctor supported you when you said what you actually wanted to do and the best choice moving forward, their hands are tied behind the back. It's like they have to legally say, this is the medications we're going to give you. Like you said, this is the medications we're going to give you. This is the surgery. That's all I can do for you. And legally, that's all they can say. Otherwise, they will get the licenses taken off of them and their livelihood and their pensions and everything else. So that's where your intuition and you knowing your body comes in, and that's where you can work with them. And with doctors, obviously the hands are tied behind the back, but if you ask the right questions, they can give you the right answers, can't they? Like when you was like, well, is it life or death? Do I have a little bit of time? Yes, you do actually have a little bit of time. We don't need to do it just now. So it's I wish everybody could just know that, and just know that they do have the choice, because I've spoken to a lot of people that have had surgeries that didn't feel like they had the choice, and it was the only option. And that's where stuff like us speaking up really, really helps. And unfortunately, we've been in places where we had to learn it the hard way.
Massively.
Us showing other people that they can do that. And I think we've just been brought up in a hierarchical society. Like we always think, oh, they're above me. They've got a suit on, like a police suit or a white coat. They know best. They know what's best for me. They have authority. When really we are sovereign beings and we can make all the choices. Massively. That it's such a big part of your health, and just taking responsibility for your own health. And that's when it goes more into, like, if you even want to take more responsibility, think about how you feel in the day, how stressed you are.
Massively. Like I never got asked when I was in hospital. I never got asked, like, the only thing I got asked the domestic violence questions, like around, like they were obviously getting it whether I was at risk that way, but I never got asked if my job was stressful, like if I'd experienced a bereavement, like anything significant that could make me feel crap. Like I never got asked that. And obviously it was Boxing Day, so Christmas can be really emotionally charged for a lot of people, and it was just all about what's going on with this one organ, not, what have you eaten, what have you drank, what,
how many bowel movements are you having? That's always a big question.
They were absolutely gobsmacked when I said I didn't have any medication. I got asked 3 times and I was like, no, I'm not taking anything pharmaceutical. It's just not happening. And
they must be thinking, well, that's the problem.
What can we give her?
Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. I think it'll help a lot of people. Just hearing a few of them things, there's definitely some nuggets in there that's going to help some people. And if they ever, God forbid, get in the same position as you, like on Boxing Day, having to go in and having all that pain, hopefully they'll make the right decision and know that they've got a little bit more time than they think, and or maybe start listening to the body and the symptoms a little bit sooner. So I think we'll cover the appendicitis thing. Do you want to talk about how the issues with women's reproductive organs and stuff, how they all come about, and why it's so important to know the factors that go into it?
Yeah, definitely. So the way that I work with the human body is I go through a hierarchy of healing, as we call it, and it's the way that you approach the body. So like we were just saying, I go into hospital with appendicitis and they're just looking at my appendix, like, and my history is endometriosis, so they were just looking at my womb. Whereas my approach starts off with the brain, because as you were just saying, it's like getting into that nervous system of fight or flight or relaxing and addressing the pain, the body's response to pain. Because when you're in pain and fear, you're never gonna get better, like
Yeah, it's
So
just a spiral, isn't it?
yeah,
Keeps coming back round.
definitely. And then the second area that I look at is lymphatics. And so your lymphatic system is your body's detoxification highway. So if your lymphatic system's not working and moving properly, which for a lot of people it isn't, because we're just not breathing properly and moving properly, then you know you're going to have issues of inflammation and toxins not getting passed through the body properly. And then so there's nine stages in the hierarchy, and what I'm coming to is the third one is the gut. And the brain, the lymphatics and the gut are all part of the immune system. So that's why those three are always at the top, because obviously your immune system is there to support your body. And a lot of the time, especially around endometriosis, it's a build-up of it's not the only cause, but a build-up of excess estrogen, environmental toxins, especially as women, because we love to put different crap on our skins, like beauty products, personal care products, bath products, like you name it. If you're not using a good clean product, you're getting that buildup of toxins in the body. Then there's your diet, but excess estrogen is a big player in endometriosis health. And a lot of the time when I speak to women who have endometriosis, they're not pooing. So if you're not pooing, you're not getting your waste out. Like the toxins are just building up. So to start detoxing those estrogens, if we're looking at just at endometriosis as an example, you need to be pooing. You need to be pooing and weeing healthily to get your body getting everything out before you can start, looking at stimulating your lymphatic system. Because if your lymphatic system's moving but your waste's not getting out your body, then it's not serving you any great purpose. So again, within endometriosis, a lot of women have already had surgery, because you have to have a surgery to get diagnosed at the moment.
Oh wow!
Which is so you've had a laparoscopy surgery. You may have had something similar to the coil put in your uterus. So you've had some kind of procedures which leads to scarring and scar tissue. And the Qenda, I discovered it however many years ago I met you, James, which I'm thinking is about 4.
Yeah, maybe 3. I think. Like I've only been doing this game 4 years, so about 3-4 years.
Yeah, like COVID's just like put a stop on time for me, so I don't know how long ago anything was. But I at that point I was really reluctant to take it because my pain was still in my stomach. So just so everybody knows, I had a hysterectomy in pursuit of curing myself of endometriosis and the symptoms that it had built up, and it didn't. Like the physical pain went, in terms of like I wasn't ovulating and menstruating, so that went during the month, but the toxicity was still there. My skin was a mess. I still wasn't going to toilet. I had a lot of scar tissue on my bowel, because that's another thing. So like with endometriosis, it can grow around the bowel and in the intestines and stuff. So again, more scar tissue, more inflammation. And it took me a really, really good while to actually trust myself to be able to take the Qenda. And oh my God, it was just like, why was I so reluctant? Like and I had a lot of fear as well around going to the toilet, because
it's taboo, isn't it, nowadays?
Massively. Like I was so constipated that I'd be sat on the toilet for a long time. So like
inconvenience.
Everybody knew when I was going for my poo, because I'd be sat on the toilet for ages just thinking, I really hope a poo's going to come out, like in a lot of pain, doing all the wrong things, sitting in the wrong position, straining, like just doing everything wrong. And then when I started taking the Qenda, I just couldn't believe what was coming out of me. And so when I had my hysterectomy, they actually punctured my bowel. So I had my bowel restored, and then there was a lot of pain for me whenever I went to the toilet. Wherever that scar tissue would create a lot of pain when when my poo was passing that part of my body.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of resistance for me, looking back now, to poo because it hurt.
Yeah.
I
know exactly what you mean. Scar tissue there.
Yeah.
Like, I used to have my hands on the wall and just literally scream when I was having a bowel movement.
And when you're out and about, that's not convenient. As you say, you don't want to be doing that. And then I'd need to lie down after. Like, me and my husband have a joke because I'd have a poo and then I'd need to go and have a lie down. I need to recover from that. But the Qenda, just all the stuff that was coming out of me was just like, this definitely needed to cut. Like, this is a long time coming. Like, it needed to come out. My skin instantly got better, but over the course of, I think I took it for 4 months. Now that bowel pain is gone. It hasn't come back. And I genuinely, I can remember sitting in the doctor's surgery and just saying, look, I've got this pain. I don't want any more surgery or investigation. I just want to know that it's safe, and if I have to live with it, that's fine. Because I was like bargaining, because I was like, I've had all this pain before, so this little bit of pain, I'm okay with that. I'll live with that. And the Qenda really just took all that away, and I now go to the toilet 3 times a day. And before, I went for up to 2 months without a bowel movement. I was having to have like clonics and everything to clear everything out. And honestly, the medical community did so much to my bum because I wasn't pooing, and there was a history of bowel cancer, so like all the alarm bells were ringing, and when really it was just this build-up of estrogens. And that wasn't the only thing. There's obviously all the other toxins that were in there as well, because you just can't escape them. Like, as clean as you live, they're around us all the time, aren't they? So
the air we breathe, the like waters we drink, or just plastics. All food comes in plastics, and that's obviously estrogen mimickers, isn't it?
Massively, So endocrine disturbing chemicals. So, like, I would say to any woman watching this, if you have anything, like, even if it's just, I say just, like, your periods aren't meant to hurt. So stop telling yourself that it's okay to take pills every month, regardless of how mild it is. That's not how your body should work. If you are having period pains, your body is telling you something is wrong. It's like, it's whispering. I know it's painful, but it's like a little whisper from your womb just saying something's not right here, because your brain talks to your ovaries, and like everywhere talks to everywhere else. So if there's something wrong, it will find a way to tell you. And if that's your monthly cycle, then you need to be listening. If you've got polycystic ovaries, ovarian cysts, anything like that, then I would just say, get yourself a course of Qenda and just listen to your body whilst you're going through it as well. Because I kept a journal of what I was experiencing in my body. I had a lot of, just getting really personal now, I had a lot of resistance from my anus to actually open up. And that took a lot of work, because the fear for me there was, like, I've held on to my poo for so long. It's just not used to letting it go. And there was emotional, I'm really keen on looking at the metaphysical reasons behind things as well. And when I looked into that resentment and that pain and that tightening in my anus, it was like, talking about lifestyle changes, I had a really, really stressful job. For me, it was stressful anyway, working with children who had been abused and in safeguarding. And when I left that job for the sake of my health, I carried this huge guilt that I'd walked away from those children and that role. And, you know, I discovered through all the work that I did that me holding on to my poo and keeping my anus really tight was actually me holding on to that guilt. And, you know, like once I started to tell myself that I did deserve joy and happiness and it was okay, and, you know, then that was a huge part of it as well. But definitely the Qenda getting everything moving, and I was just blown away by the lack of pain I have now. Like I just didn't think that would be possible to get rid of. And I never even set off on the Qenda journey thinking that would be a possibility. I just wanted to go to the toilet more and, you know, like, and know that there's a output matching my input in terms of what I'm eating and pooping out. But the pain side of it is just a huge bonus. And when you look at the ingredients that are in it and the goodness that it's doing, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. Like, you know, I go to friends who are on all these like support, you know, like fiber gel and all that they're given, and I'm reading the ingredients and I'm just thinking, oh my god, like just cut this out and get to the good stuff, because it's gonna work. And I think, again, you know, just talking more holistically around health, is it does come with a price tag. Like Qenda's an investment, isn't it? And it's like, for a lot of us, it's that fear of investing in ourselves. And that might not even be something that you've considered before, but when we live in a society where the NHS is free and, you know, our healthcare is free, and we get into this kind of entitled feeling of healthcare being free and, you know, available all the time, when you start to look at alternatives and look at some of the price tags that come with it, it can trigger a lot of, I'm not worthy of spending that on my body. Like, you know, that worthiness, especially for women, you know, in a society where we've fought long and hard for many years for equality and are still fighting in some cases, like, to feel worthy of investing that financial investment, but also the time that it takes. Because for me, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to do certain things because I need to be near the toilet. Like, the first couple of days, I can remember thinking, I think I started it on a full moon, I know that, and I think it was a Friday. And I can remember thinking, I'm not doing anything this weekend, so I can just be near the toilet. And they're like, for a lot of people, they might be thinking, oh, well, I can't put myself first in that case. And that's another big part of work that I do, is that you are worthy, and your body giving you all these little messages that things are wrong. If you don't put yourself first and actually start to address, listen and heal, then it's never going to happen.
Yeah, and it's going to get, the symptoms are going to get worse, the messages are going to get worse, until it gets to a stage where you have to listen, because, and you have to miss work and you cut everything out in your life that's been the priority before. Like, you end up having to cut all that out and do nothing but fix yourself and give yourself some time to really find out who you are as a person.
Massively.
What you, like you said, what you deserve,
you know, I didn't do any of those things. Like, past Amy was like in the stressful job. I'd go to work, I'd drag myself to work in pain. And I'd just, like, in my head, I was thinking, why haven't the doctors found out what's wrong with me? Like, you know, like, I wasn't ever, I always eat, I've always had a healthy diet. I've always, you know, I've never really drunk a lot of alcohol after a certain age. You know, like, and so I looked after myself in that sense, but I never really understood, like, how important it was for me to step into my sovereignty and worthiness and actually say, hang on a minute. Like, I tuned my intuition out completely. I thought, in my head, I was thinking, as soon as I've had this hysterectomy, everything will be fine. Like, I can carry on going to work, it'll be great. I got me however many months it was off sick on full pay, and I was like, oh, this is, you know, I'm going to be healed, go back to work, be absolutely fine. And it didn't work like that, because removing the womb didn't remove the problem. No. You know, like it was so much deeper than that. And it took me a really big lifestyle shift to actually think, I'm stepping away from this job because it's toxic for me. I am going to start investing more in myself, giving myself more time. And I know for a lot of people, you might think, well, that's not a reality I can live with. Like, I'm the breadwinner, I can't change my job, I can't do whatever. And I get that, but you can start making small changes. And like I said, if you're struggling with your periods or anything related to that, get some Qenda and just start listening to your body. And it tastes vile.
Yeah,
but
that's a given.
I can remember every morning just getting hold of it and saying to myself, my body really needs this. And there was no reluctance at all to drink it. There was one day when I was unwell during the time that I was taking it, and I went to put my hand on it, and just my body just said no, like, not today. And I was like, that's totally cool, like, we're not doing it today. And then the next time I went back to put my hand on the bottle, it was like, yep, we need it, let's get going again. So I think that's really important as well. If you tell yourself that you're doing it for the right reasons and connect with your body, because as I said earlier, I was so distant from my body. Like, it was like, Amy's here trying to get all this stuff done, and my body's here. We're two separate things. And my body was screaming and shouting at me, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, stop, just bloody well stop and listen. And I was like, no, I need to keep going, I need to keep going. And yeah, it wasn't until I started to really love myself and my body, and, you know, actually sit down and think, well, why aren't I pooing? You know, like, why is that not happening? Because it should happen. Like, I've got all the bits and pieces to do it. Like, why isn't it happening? And to then lovingly guide your body through the process of taking the Qenda, not putting any expectations on yourself, you know, doing all the things that you should be doing, drinking the water, eating the healthy diet, and your body, I mean, James will say the same, will thank you massively. It, you know, like, it'll be like, oh, she's listening, he's listening, like, yeah, this is what we need. And it's not always plain sailing. Like, it can be. I mean, I had about a fortnight where I just farted constantly, and I was just like, I don't think I can go in public. Like, this is not good. But that passed, and I just, yeah, like, genuinely, when I talk to people about how little I used to poo, how much pain I was in, how bloated I was, like the discomfort, the trapped wind, for how I am now is just, it's so many million miles away from it, and so much better.
Yeah, you don't realise how much you're putting up with. The amount of people that start, like, before they've had the Qenda, and they just think, oh, I'll just have it for a cleanse. They're like, oh, I'm fine, but I just want to have a cleanse. Like, I feel like I need one. And then they're like, oh, like, my itchy skin's gone. Like, I can sleep better at night time. Like, I'm not craving sugary stuff anymore. Like,
massively.
And I feel more relaxed. And, like, there's stuff that they don't realise that, oh, like, I had this tummy pain and I had this pain there, and I'd get spots in this area and they're not there anymore, or toenail fungus, and they're like, all this stuff that they're like, I'm absolutely fine. Like, everybody has something wrong with them. Like, I don't, once you get to know people, like, you know, you find out their issues, or I guess in our job we end up finding out more of people's issues, but like, nobody's perfect, and perfection gets pushed on us, and like, from social media or whatever, and the media, like, we think that everybody's living this perfect life, but really people are suffering with different things.
the other two things I will say as well is, first off, is you don't need a washboard stomach and a six pack. Like, it really winds me up when I see advertising for detoxes and it's showing you like pictures of women with six packs and flat stomachs, and you know, like that's not what you should be craving. You should be craving and seeking a healthy gut before you even start to look at like fitness regimes and stuff. Like, it just,
healthy
you know,
gut, healthy head as well, isn't it? So.
You know, and you see these individuals who are like hammering it at the gym and putting more stress on their body that's already full of stress because of all the toxins and the stress that they're carrying around internally. Like, I definitely say to anyone, if you've got an external issue with how you look, which I did as well. I was really bloated and I got really paranoid about it, and you know, I wanted the washboard stomach. Then you need to look at what's going on inside before you look at, you know, getting a personal trainer, hitting the gym every day, because that is where the biggest transformation is going to take place. And alongside that, if you are trapped in a diet that you're not happy with, like I had a sugar addiction. Like, I ate a lot of sugar, and it was, I'd just been, you know, my mum's always baking. It was like, you go around, you have a cup of tea and you have something sweet with it. And I never thought that I'd be able to get out of that, because I ditched caffeine, I ditched alcohol, but I really struggled with the sugar. I do still eat sugar, but not in as much as I did. But the Qenda really helped with that as well. Like, it really helped with my cravings.
Yeah, because them overgrowths that you have living inside you, if you're not cleansing yourself, well, if you're not flowing properly, that gives a perfect environment for parasites, overgrowths, and they can give you these sugar cravings.
Yeah.
They know what they want to eat, and they can influence your mood and your cravings.
Yeah, so if you're like, you know, I'm just thinking of a lot of women that I know that I was exactly the same. Like, you come to your period, you're shoveling your face full of chocolate, and you're getting the cramps and everything else, like all of that, and you're feeling resentment towards how your body looks. All of that can be really heavy to carry and put you in a really unhappy place mentally. Whereas if you go to start with your gut's linked to your mental health. And if you start taking the Qenda, looking after the inside, helping you with the cravings, it's getting rid of all the toxins that are causing the cramps, and, you know, really setting a strong foundation for you to get the body that you need, not the body you want. Because as you said, James, we look on social media and we see all these images, and like everywhere we're just bombarded with images of perfect bodies, when really a perfect body is one that's functioning fully and healthily and happily. And yeah, because I just think that there's a lot of narrative out there around how we should look and what looks healthy. Whereas, you know, what we're told looks healthy isn't necessarily meaning that everything's healthy on the inside, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. And it works both ways as well. You get yourself healthy in your mind and healthy, feeling healthy.
Yeah.
And then you naturally look so much better anyway. You got more colour in your face. And like, as you know, a toxin store in cellulite as well. Your body creates cellulite to protect these organs from the toxins. So it sort of melts off you when you've got a clean body anyway, the unnecessary fats. And then if you're not eating sugars, you're not putting on cellulite as well. So it all intertwines. So like you said, it's just prioritizing your mind and your body and just feeling right. And then when you feel right, everything else follows, doesn't it?
Hugely.
Yeah, it shows in everything. But yeah, thanks a lot for your time. I guess we need to just tell people where they can find you if they want to know more about healing their bodies.
Yeah, so my business is called Vagina Truth Bomb, and you can find me on Facebook. I am Vagina Truth Bomb with Amy Louise Connor. And also, if you want to, I've got a website as well, which is vaginatruthbomb.com. And you can drop me an email at amy@vaginatruthbomb.com. It's easy to remember.
Awesome, yeah, I never, I never heard a name like that. It's definitely easy to remember. That's awesome.
And it's like, it just works in so many ways, because the problem in this instant, it isn't your vagina. Like, you know, everyone's focusing on your vagina when you've got gynae issues, but it's not always where the root cause is. So
yeah, all your body's connected in it. It is mind, body, and spirit. And when you're healing something, it is mind, body, and spirit, and that's where it all comes in it. So yeah, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll stop recording.